Hey everybody, how's it going? Today we're going to be going over and showing you how to install the Stealth Hitches hidden rack receiver here on our 2017 Volvo V90. So this is what our hitch is going to look like installed with the rack receiver inserted into the hitch body. As you can see here, the hitch has a nice hidden design. Everything's going to be hidden up behind the bumper here. The only thing we're going to be able to see while we're using our accessories is the actual receiver tube. But this hitch has sort of a unique feature in that it can actually be completely hidden while not in use. All we need to do is, there's going to be a handle on the latching mechanism on the right side here. We'll simply flip that, and then we can drop the receiver tube out. As you can see now, we have a completely factory-like appearance. You won't even be able to tell that there's a trailer hitch installed. So then when we are ready to attach our hitch-mounted accessory, such as a bike rack or cargo carrier, which is going to be primarily what our trailer hitch is going to be used for, we'll simply insert the receiver tube back into the latching mechanism. You're going to want to feel underneath for the hole. Once you find the hole, line it up, and you should just be able to press it right up until it clicks into place. And there we go. That brings me to my next point here about the feature of this hitch, is that it has a locking mechanism as well. Therefore, we can actually lock the receiver tube to the trailer hitch so no one can remove it. There's going to be a lock core on the side here, which is covered with our factory plug. And then we're going to have a set of keys here we can use to lock the receiver tube to the hitch body. So we talked a little bit about what you could be using the receiver tube for. So this particular version here is going to be made for bike racks and cargo carriers or any other 2-inch hitch mounted accessories, for the exception of a ball mount. We actually can't tow with this trailer hitch here. However, if you do need to tow with your Volvo, there is an option for this. It's going to be a separate ball mount / hitch ball that goes right into the same hitch body as our receiver tube here. It also comes with the wiring we need for our trailer lights. So in regards to weight capacities, there isn't going to be a gross trailer weight rating because, again, this can't be used for towing, but we are going to have a tongue weight rating, which is going to be 350 pounds. So our receiver tube here is going to provide us with the standard 2-inch by 2-inch receiver tube opening. Because we have this larger opening, we're going to have a much greater variety of bike racks and cargo carriers to choose from. On the side here, we're going to have the standard 5/8 inch diameter hitch pin, which will accept a 5/8 inch diameter hitch pin and clip. Keep in mind, this is going to be sold separately. However, almost all bike racks are going to come with their own hitch pin and clip. It's usually threaded for anti-rattle. So now we have a couple measurements for you here. The first one is going to be the distance from the ground to the bottom edge of the receiver tube. This is just sort of a ground clearance measurement I like to give you guys. That's going to be right at 13 inches. Then the other measurement we have here is the distance from the center of the hitch pin hole to the outside edge of the bumper, and that hitch pin hole is just slightly recessed. It sits about an inch behind the outer edge of the bumper. That measurement will be useful when you're selecting your folding accessories, such as a bike rack or cargo carrier. That way you can make sure while they're in the folded position, they don't contact the bumper. And because it's so close to the edge of the bumper, I don't foresee any issues with that. So in regards to installation, we do actually have to remove the rear bumper fascia. And I know that may sound like a lot, but it's actually not bad at all, especially on these Volvo models. It's pretty easy, and we should be able to do this with just some common tools. Let's go ahead and show you guys how to do that now. So in order to get our trailer hitch into position, we're actually going to be removing our rear bumper, which may sound like a lot, but it's actually not that hard. We're going to go ahead and show you how to do that now. Our first step, we're going to want to open the hatch here. Now on either side, we have these little bumpers here. We need to go ahead and remove them. They're super easy to remove. Just simply turn them counterclockwise and then pull them out. We'll have one on either side. So now we're going to come to our fender well here where the rear tires are. And on the back side here, we're going to have 5 torque screws we need to remove. There's a couple up top there, and then there's 3 down below. So we're going to take a T25 Torx bit. We're going to remove these now. So with our last screw removed, we'll actually be removing this mud flap here, and then we'll just repeat the same process on the other side. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to peel back our wheel well liner here, We're going to be looking at this section where our bumper meets our quarter panel, so right in here. Now, you may or may not have a screw that goes up through the bumper and secures it to the quarter panel. It's going to go upward like so. Our particular model doesn't have it, but it'll be that same Torx bit, the ones we've been removing the screws thus far. So if you have that, you'll need to go ahead and take it out. But once we get that out, we're going to have this little plastic clip. It's going to be kind of hard to see. We just need to reach in here. Once you get a handle on it, you should be able to remove it. It's pretty easy to remove. This is what it looks like. So we'll need to take that out. We'll need to repeat the same process on the other side. So now we're going to come underneath with the same T25 Torx bit we've been using. We're going to have 4 more screws we need to remove. We're going to have 2 on this side and then 2 on the other side in the same location. So let's go ahead and get these out now. So our next step is actually to remove our bumper. Before we do this, we want to minimize any chances for scratches and nicks damaging the vehicle or the bumper. So in order to help with this, what we're going to do is, our vehicle's kind of dirty now. We're going to take a soapy water solution and we're just going to spray down the part where our bumper and quarter panel meet so we can clean it off. We're then going to come back with some masking tape. We're going to mask both of these edges here, again, just to prevent any chance for scratches. So now that we have everything taped up, we can begin removing our bumper fascia. Now it's pretty simple to do this. Once we have all our fasteners out, we're just going to grab on this corner edge here. We're just going to pull straight out to release the clips. Just like so. You want to make sure that you work your way forward here. We don't necessarily want to pull too much on this end. You want to get your hands in here and start to pull closer to those tabs. It'll minimize the chance of stressing the plastic out and causing any damage. So now with an extra set of hands, we'll go ahead and begin removing the fascia. We want to make sure that we don't pull it too far away from the vehicle here because we are going to have an electrical connector we need to remove. So it looks like we're going to have 1 on each side here. They're pretty easy to remove. We're just going to simply have that tab there. We'll depress and pull out. So now with our fascia off, we go ahead and set it aside. So with our bumper fascia off, it's actually going to be time to remove the bumper beam. And in order to do that, we're going to have 3 15mm nuts here on either side. We'll go ahead and remove those now. We're going to be discarding the nuts, but we will be saving the bumper beam for reinstallation. So now with all of our nuts removed, we should be able to pull the bumper beam off. So next we can take our trailer hitch here, making sure that the side with the flanges and the 2 holes is facing down. We'll just go ahead and set these on our factory studs. So now with our hitch into position, we'll go ahead and reinstall our factory bumper beam. And once that's in place, we're going to come back with our new flange nuts that come in our kit here, making sure we don't reuse the factory nuts. We're just going to get these started to hold everything in place. So now I'm going to come back with our 15mm socket. I'm going to make sure to put some pressure here on the bumper beam and the hitch just to pull everything closer to the body. I'm just going to snug down all of our bolts here. So now I'll come back with our torque wrench here and torque all of our fasteners down to the factory specifications. So now we're going to take our latching mechanism here. We're going to go ahead and set this into position between these 2 brackets. We're going to have the handle over here on the right side. Maybe a little bit of a tight fit. So now that we have both bolts in holding the latching mechanism to our trailer hitch here, we'll come back with a 3/4 inch socket and wrench. We'll go ahead and tighten them down. So now we'll come back with our torque wrench here and torque everything down to spec. Alright, so now we need to go ahead and cut out our bumper here to make clearance for our rack receiver. Now keep in mind the instructions that come with your kit here, they're going to give you two different diagrams. One if we have the rack receiver version, which is that 2-inch receiver tube opening, and the other would be if we have the ball mount version. So since we're using the rack receiver, we have a little bit of a smaller cutout. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to come to the outside of these two tabs here. We're going to use these to find the center point, which you can see I have marked here. We're then going to measure 6 inches out here on either side, 6 inches out this way, and then 6 inches out this way. We're going to measure up 4 3/4 inches to get our line here, come all the way across, and then we're just going to follow this sort of body molding here, this little contour all the way over to our outer point. But now that we have everything marked out, we're going to come back with a Dremel tool, or if you have a pair of tin snips, you could probably get a pretty clean cut as well. So now that we have our cutout made, go ahead and set this panel aside. That can be trashed. What we're going to do next is we're going to take a razor blade, or if you have a file, that'll work as well. We're just going to clean up all these rough edges here. So now we're ready to set our bumper fascia back on the vehicle here. So again, an extra set of hands are going to be helpful for this. And don't forget, we have an electrical connector on each side we need to attach before we button everything up. So now that we have our bumper fascia back on, we can go ahead and reinstall all of our fasteners that we removed previously. And that'll do it today for our look and installation of the Stealth Hitches Hidden Rack Receiver here on our 2017 Volvo V90.